Okay, we're back on Algebra 2 review, 5.1 to 5.4, and we're going to start with number 12 here. We're supposed to find the vertex and the y-intercept. Now, the vertex is really easy because this problem is actually given to us in what's called vertex form. The number inside the parentheses is the opposite of h, so you can see I changed the sign of that positive 5 to negative 5, and the k is on the outside there. And I'll write that out here. It's y equals ax opposite of h squared plus k. So you just change the sign of the one that's in the parentheses and you've got your h, and you copy the back one and you've got your vertex. Okay, to find the y-intercept, you take advantage of the fact that anytime you're on the y-axis, the x-coordinate will always be 0. So you set the x equal to 0. And you can see I took the equation here and I put a 0 where it used to say x. And the rest is just calculating the sum here is 5, and you square it to get 25. Negative 4 times 25 would come next, and adding them together, and you've got your y-intercept of negative 103. You can just write y equals negative 103, or maybe the better way to do it is to say 0 for x, negative 103 for y, and that is incidentally way down below the origin when you graph it. Okay, number 13, I have it all worked out here, and what you're going to see here is that I took the vertex and labeled it hk, and the other point they gave me is just a generic x and y, and I took my vertex form and plugged in the y, 9, the x, negative 2. The opposite of h goes here, so I put positive 4 instead of negative, and the k goes down there. The next stage here is just calculating this part here. It's going to be negative 2 plus 4 is 2. When you square it, you get 4. So that's 4 times a. Subtract 1 from both sides. Divide by 4, and you get a equals 2. And then I just come back here and plug the a value in. Let me write down below it here what I'm plugging into. I put 2 for the a since we calculated that. The opposite of h is 4, and the k is 1. So you just plug them all in and you got your equation. Okay, example 14. The first thing you're going to do is find the vertex, and it's just the opposite of h right here. So I changed the sign there and copied there. And then I transfer that over to here. Once I have the vertex, then I start picking x values on either side. So on the right of negative 1, you go to 0, 1, and 2. And on the left of negative 1, you go negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. Now to get all these y values, I used my calculator. I'll show you how I did that. I went to my y equals key and typed in this equation. Once I get that in there, I'm going to go to my table settings. Make sure, by the way, you use a negative there, not a minus. Second, table settings, and you want to start at negative 4 on the table of values here. Make sure you're in automatic mode before you jump over here to your table. And I copied all these x and y values over here. There's good symmetry like you're expecting over there. And plot the points and graph the parabola. Okay, on example 15, we're supposed to take this standard form equation and convert it into vertex form. We start with a little formula for h and calculate the value of h. Plug that in to find the k value. And the a value is always the same as you started with here. This is ax squared plus bx plus c. So the a is 2. We're going to use that 2 for the a value. So I plug in 2 for a. We had a 5 for the h, so you can see I put in the opposite of that. And the k is negative 41. Okay, the last problem here I've got started. I'm going to finish it on the calculator here. They give us an x and y value of negative 123. So I plugged all those in. And this part down here is going to be negative 3 squared would be 9. 1k, and then I put the 23 on the other side. I rearranged here. Then I do it again with this new x and y value here. And you can see this 4 comes from 4 minus 2, which was 2. You square it to get the 4. And I put the 8 on the other side. And now what you're dealing with here is a system of equations. And we're going to solve it using matrices here in a minute. So I'll pull my calculator up, and you can see that I've typed in 9, 1. Let me actually do it with you. Alpha zoom 2 by 2. Type in 9, right arrow, 1, right arrow, 4, right arrow, 1, right arrow. And then you want to hit the little inverse key. I'm pointing at it right here. And then you go back to alpha zoom, but you make a skinny 2 by 1 matrix with the numbers 23 and 8 in it. Remember to navigate with your right arrow. 3, negative 4 are the A and K values you get. Now, since A shows up first here, that'll be the top one, and K will be the bottom one. So 3 and negative 4. And that does it for problems 12 through 16 on the review.